this is Kim with Pure Balance Austin Massage and Yoga. I'm going to show you a short sequence that'll help you open up the bottoms of your feet, your calves, and your hamstrings. You'll need a blanket today. I'm sitting on mine. You'll also need a tennis ball for sure. And then optional would be a couple of blocks or something like blocks, like a chair or a box, something that just sits up over the floor. The first posture that we'll be doing will be standing up, so go ahead and stand up now. Ready? Once you're standing, just place your tennis ball in front of you, and then place your right forefoot on top of the tennis ball with your heel on the floor. You'll notice that your toes start to wrap down towards the floor, and you'll feel your transverse arch start to lift up. Just take a few moments here. And then start to massage the bottom of your foot by just rolling the ball forward and back along the length of your foot. You'll notice that there's a spot that's probably a little more tender than others, so I want you to go to that spot and stay there. You might utilize your breath here to create some openness, create some tolerance for the discomfort. Breathe deeply. And then move again, back and forth. Maybe do circles. Whatever feels good for you, that'll start to open up that fascia that's on the bottom of your foot. Then go ahead and take your right foot down on the ground, and we'll go to the other foot. Start with your left forefoot on the tennis ball, your heel on the floor. Pause for a moment. And then start to massage. Roll the ball forward and backward on the bottom of your foot. Find the spot that's the most tender. And just give that a few moments, using your breath to help you tolerate the discomfort. And then move the ball again, back and forth, maybe do some small circles. And then release, and just kind of notice the color of your feet. Notice if they feel different on the floor. I have two other balls here, and these are definitely optional. This is a lacrosse ball. It's much more hard, so you could do the same exercise with it. It'll just be a little bit less tolerable. And then I also have this nice little ball that has little spikes on it that I got from REI, and that's a good option too. So that'll really get in there. It's a hard plastic ball. So those are optional. Tennis ball does fine. A racquetball would be a good option as well. So come on down to seated again, and we're gonna stretch what we just massaged. So the first action is, and I'll turn around so you can see my feet here, is you're gonna put your legs together, your knees together, your feet together, but roll those toes under. You might have to grab those pinky toes to get them in on the game, and then sit back on your heels. This stretches your toes and it stretches the bottom of your feet. Next, come forward with some weight on your hands and point your toes back. Now for this one, bring your shins together, try to bring your heels together, and then drape the upholstery of your buttocks over your heels to get them as close together as you can. They might fall apart a little bit, but you just try to keep them as close together as they can. Take a few moments, a few breaths here, and this stretches the top of the feet. The next posture, we're going to utilize the boniness of the top of our feet to massage the instep of our feet. So you'll use this bumpy part on the top of one foot, and you'll place it on the instep of the other foot. So let me show you what this will look like. You'll come back onto your hands and knees, and this time you can take your knees wide and bring one foot in, and now take the bony part on the top of the other foot and place it right on the instep. Probably you So this presses right in on what's considered the spinal reflex of your foot. It's your instep. And if you're not really feeling anything, all you probably need to do is adjust your foot to another spot, and you'll probably find a place that is a little tight. Use your breath to tolerate the discomfort, to be present. And after this position, come out and just change feet. So you're going to put your other foot underneath and take the bony part of your left foot on top. Place it, maybe rub it again back and forth. That seemed like a good plan for me. And then sit back. Sit right down on some place that feels a little tender. And if you need to adjust, go to a different place. And just take a few breaths. As much of your weight down on that foot as you can muster. From here, you may want to just sort of pat out your feet again and then curl your toes under like we did before. Get the pinky fingers, the pinky toes under and sit back once again. And this time as you're here, you can interlace your fingers and turn your palms away from you and just stretch those arms up, take your ribs back and put as much weight on your heels as you can and just stretch from your waistline up through your armpits. And then release your hands and take them back down to your lap. And from here, we'll turn around, and I like using my blanket for this. So I'm just going to put my blanket under me, and please come to seated with your legs in front of you. To start, you'll straighten your legs and bend your right or your left knee, turn it out to the side, and then just place your ankle right on top of your thigh. So you're making the figure 4 with your legs. From here, you'll bend the other knee, and for some of us, we're just too tight in the hips, so you might come right back to here. Either one is fine. But in any case, you're going to take your right hand and meet your left foot, and then place your pinky finger between your pinky toe and your fourth toe, and so on. You're going to put a finger between each and every toe, and see if you can really scooch that up so that the webbing of your fingers are between the webbing of your toes, and then spread your toes. Now from here, go ahead and flex your foot and point your foot. And just do this a few times back and forth. You've still got your fingers between each and every one of your toes. And then you can even do circles, real slow circles in one direction and then in the other direction. And when you're done doing both directions, flex your feet, spread your fingers to spread your toes, and voila, release your hand, release your foot, and you'll notice the coloring is different between each of your feet. So let's go to the other side. Stretch your left leg out, turn your right knee out, and place that ankle on top of your thigh. So this time, I'm going to show you what it's like to not bend your knee. If you can, friends, do this. Bend your knee. But if it's too hard for your, or too tight in your hips, you just straighten your leg, and we'll just do the same thing. Put a finger between each and every one of your toes. Start with your pinky finger. That's kind of the smallest opening. And then spread your fingers in order to spread your toes. Flex your foot, and then point your toes. Flex and point. Flex and point. And now let's do some circles. So just rotate the ankle one direction and then the other direction. And when you're done, spread your fingers, spread your toes, and then release. And then go ahead and take those feet out, bend your knees, and again, you can just investigate how the color changed. There's maybe more circulation in the feet. Should feel pretty good. The next thing we're doing is called calf smashing. So you'll come off of your blanket and open it up so that you can roll it up into a tight burrito. And once it's in that burrito, I'm going to show you this from the side view. Come to kneeling with your toes pointed back behind you and your legs relatively close together. And then we're going to take this blanket or this burrito blanket, put it behind your knees, and what I like to do is come to the top of my head and really scooch it up so it's right behind the knees. Then you sit back. And for some of us, this is pretty uncomfortable, particularly if you run or you walk a lot, or the opposite, you're seated a lot during the day. So we're going to try to move our ribs back a little and anchor our hips down as low as we can, and we'll take some time here because it's going to take some time for those calves to soften and those hamstrings to soften. So just breathe deeply. You might want to do something with your arms. Interlace your hands behind you. Roll your shoulders back so your chest is open, and just stretch those arms back. And then as you do that, your weight will go back and you can sit a little deeper over this rolled up blanket. Breathe deeply here. So to come out of this, you'll release your hands, take your hands to the floor, and then just come up and curl your toes under. So we kind of go into that first position we were with our toes curled under. And then come up onto your fingertips and rock your knees back so you're in a little bit of a lunge. And this stretches the bottom of the feet too, if the heels are slightly up. If you can bring the heels down, go ahead and do so. And then let's just see if you can find some balance here. Maybe even bringing the hands together in front of the heart. And this starts to work those fine little muscles in the ankles as you find that balance. From here, go ahead and take your hands back down and just remove the blanket from behind your knees and instead place it right in front of you. All right, so we're going to stand up again, but before you do, you might want to walk a little closer and find your blocks, put them in front of your blanket, or again, you can have a chair there as well, and then just stand up. Now, from here, we've got the rolled up blanket. We're going to put our 4 feet on the blanket and the heel stays down. So this starts to stretch out the backs of the calves, that place that you just squished. Make sure, if you're somebody who locks your knees, that you draw your knees slightly forward so that you're not locking. And then take your hands to your hip flexors and slowly bow forward. And here's where, if you have a chair, you can put your hand on the chair. You can go a little lower, put your hands on the blocks, or some of you might find that you can get your hands all the way to the ground. So standing forward fold with this lift in our forefoot, the heels down. Now I like to bring my weight forward, push the 4 feet down even more, and that makes me feel this extra stretch in the backs of the calves, and it goes all the way up, and I feel it into the hamstrings as well. Stay here for a few breaths. And then to come out, I'm going to take my hands to the blanket and just step back. And I push my fingertips down and forward and get my belly right on my thighs for a nice deep Uttanasana. And as much as I can, I push my fingertips forward to straighten my legs any amount. And now bring your weight forward to your 4 feet. To come up, lengthen your spine. Take your hands to your waist, lift your elbows and shoulders, and then push down through your feet as you use your glutes to stand all the way up. So that's the last of our exercises. You might find that your feet feel a little bit more grounded, that your legs feel a little bit more open. Feel free to repeat the video again, do all the exercises again, or even pause in between so that you can hold each and every one of them a little bit longer. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.